What's up, homies? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something that everyone from my grandma to people at work to friends, they've all been asking me about. They've been talking about Bitcoin because everyone wants to make money. So today I'm going to talk about how you can invest in Bitcoin without actually holding any Bitcoin. Because I know it may sound scary to actually buy Bitcoin. You may not understand exactly what it is. That's okay. And I'll be honest, I don't think it's really important for you to really understand or know everything about Bitcoin to just know that it works. Since Bitcoin has had a 718% return over the past year, it's something that everybody's talking about. It's a hot topic right now, so I get it. So this is how you can make money with Bitcoin without actually buying Bitcoin. To do this, you're going to need to understand what an ETF is, which is just short for an exchange-traded fund. And an exchange-traded fund is really, if you want to think about it, as just a basket of different stocks or other securities or really anything that could be sold within that packaged ETF. So you buy shares of this one ETF, and within that bundle that you're now buying, the company that has sold you that ETF owns within that package maybe shares in Tesla, maybe shares in Square or Microsoft or other tech companies if it's more of a tech-focused ETF. Or rather than growth-oriented stocks and securities like the tech companies that I just mentioned, you might be more interested in just getting passive income in the form of dividends, which, believe me, I totally get. I love dividends. I'm more of a growth investor, but dividends are definitely an important part of a portfolio. So if that's you, you may be more interested in an ETF that within it has shares of things like Coca-Cola, Disney, or big companies like Microsoft that don't grow a whole lot. They still grow a little bit, but pay a regular dividend as well. So to sum up, an ETF is a prepackaged investment that you buy into without actually owning those specific companies, but you'll still be able to reap the benefits of the growth or the profits of those companies. So this is the fun part, where you can get around the volatility of Bitcoin, because anyone who's actually looked at the candlesticks of Bitcoin and seen the volatility and just the riskiness associated with it, they probably want the reward, but not necessarily the risk. So this is how I invest in Bitcoin without necessarily holding individual coins or fractional shares. Depending on what platform you're on, you could do that. But this is how I do it. The first step is to look up what companies actually invest in Bitcoin. It's companies like Tesla, MicroStrategies, and Square who are really paving the way to normalizing cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. They're really the most popular one right now. So by buying these ETFs where you'll hold shares of these tech companies and others who are buying into Bitcoin, when they see the rewards and they reap the benefits of buying into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, you can still reap the benefits. Now granted, you're not going to see the full return of Bitcoin as if you would have just gone out and directly invested into Bitcoin. And there's several different platforms where you can do that if you're looking for more risk, but also more potential for reward. And again, this isn't investment advice. Everyone should seek professional advice for their own situation. But in general, these are my thoughts on investing in Bitcoin. Personally, I'm open to more risk and willing to hold some of my portfolio directly in Bitcoin. I know for others, though, where they're not as interested in being exposed to all that risk, but they still want to have some sort of exposure to the rewards that Bitcoin can offer, then an ETF like this, where they will be holding shares of these different companies who believe in Bitcoin, who believe in cryptocurrencies as being the future, then for someone like that, it makes a lot of sense to go and look for one of these ETFs where they can still have some of that exposure. There's been a lot of speculation over the years about whether or not Bitcoin is going to be here to stay and whether cryptocurrencies are just going to be a fad for a couple of years and whether they're just going to go away after that. It seems like right now, everyone is starting to accept these as legitimate. And so I think that it's worthwhile to hold up to 5 or 6% of your portfolio's value in Bitcoin. That way you still are exposed to some of the returns that they could possibly bring, but 5 or 6%, it's not going to kill you in the long run if it just completely goes away, which it's not going to do. But just in case you're really afraid of that, you could still just limit it to 5 or 6%. And especially from financial advisors that I've talked to, this isn't a strategy that I've ever heard talked about from any of them. In the comments below, I'll go ahead and list some ETFs that you can look into, and always look into the investments that I may talk about. Do your own research and make your own money. But that wraps it up from me, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. And go ahead and like the video. It helps me to know if you're interested in this sort of content. And, I enjoy making it, but really, I want to make sure that you find value here. But thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.